As complicated body is, so are the medical terminologies explaining them. But worry not, though they may be in Greek or Latin, well, actually they are, we shall still explore the lucid way to understand them. Hello and welcome to Lucid Medicine. I'm Dr. Rahul Joshi, and in this video, we are going to talk about the common medical terms with respect to human body systems, basic definition of routinely used terminologies, and clear some misunderstanding about them. What misunderstanding? You will soon come to know. Let me jump into the presentation mode and then take it from there.
Hello, hi, welcome to the presentation mode here at Lucid Medicine, and today we are going to talk about body systems. Now, anatomy is a study of human body with respect to key landmarks on your body, and with key directions. It is very important to know where is exactly a organ is located, where exactly a muscle is situated, and how is the nerves flowing from one part of the body to the other, or how are the blood vessels placed inside your body and they run from one starting point of an organ to the other. So all of that is very important in the anatomy or the study of your body. We understand anatomy by way of, like I mentioned, surface markings or some key landmarks on your body, or there is another way to understand anatomy, and that is by the way of radiology. So why are these directions really important? Because if you're a patient, or if you are a caregiver, or if you are a medical student or a pharmacy graduate, you need to really understand what is that term you're exactly using, and is it describing the location or the site of pain, of fracture, or of anything that you're pointing out to is accurate. Okay, so with that, I think let's jump on to the directions. I think the perspective is very clear. Right side, you see a image where it is very evident that something that is above, or something that is at the head end of the body, that is called the cephalid or superior portion. Something that is near the eggs or inferior is also called as caudal. Caudal means towards the tail, or the tail portion. So that is the bottom of it, or inferior. Right. When we talk about anterior, your front facing side or the ventral side in the animal kingdom is that's what the towards the front side of the belly of the body. When we talk about posterior, it is the dorsal or the back of the body. The medial means towards the midline of the body. Lateral, which is often used into various other terminologies and various other branches as well of science. Lateral means towards the side of the body. Proximal is basic English terminology, which means that it is nearer to the body, or nearer to the point of attachment, or nearer to any given reference point. Distal is another word. So distal means farther. So it is opposite of proximal. Once you say proximal is near, distal is farther away from the attachment. We've already mentioned what is superior, inferior, cephalid, caudal. Superficial or external. Superficial means it is onto the surface of the body. So you have superficial skin layers, or you have boils on the skin which are superficially situated. Whereas when you talk about deep, you talk about to the center of the body. So these are typically indicating internal organs or deep organs situated inside, say, the abdominal cavity. Basic medical terms to describe disease condition, and these are body systems that we are talking to in the relationship. We say, yeah, the patient had this particular sign and symptom, but what exactly is sign and what exactly is a symptom which is shown? So a sign is an objective evidence of a disease, such as fever, which you can touch, measure, understand, and have a quantifiable data attached to it. Objective means that the sign can be evaluated or measured by the patient or the examiner or the doctor. Whereas when you move to symptom, it is a subjective evidence of a disease, such as pain or headache. Subjective means that it can be only evaluated or measured by the patient. So therefore you have doctors or caregivers asking you, how bad is your pain on the scale of 0 to 10, 0 being least bothersome and 10 is extremely painful. Let's move on to syndrome. Syndrome is a set of signs and symptoms collectively occurring together as a part of a specific disease process. So you have acute coronary syndrome, which means it's not just the heart attack which is happening, or the myocardial infarction which is happening, but there is also an effect on the lungs simultaneously. There is also an impact on your brain simultaneously. There is also an impact on the blood circulation of your kidneys and your liver at the same time. So it's a part of a big syndrome, and therefore when you have multiple signs and symptoms or a specific one directing to a disease process, you label it as a syndrome. When you talk about diagnosis or DX, must have seen doctors or the hospital staff writing DX in front of a disease name, which means that the doctor is very confident about it and he has arrived to a conclusion that the patient is diagnosed with or the patient is suffering from a particular disease. So diagnosis is the identification of a disease. To diagnose is the process of reaching a diagnosis. So that is what we do in medical practice, where doctors essentially order blood test, order skin test, order allergy test, order multiple such tests to understand what is the disease process happening inside the body and what is the right diagnosis. The right diagnosis is actually the center stage of everything. You have the history of the patient, you have the signs and symptoms understood, you have the chief complaints of the patient, and with all of that you add investigations. This actually helps to clinch the diagnosis, to arrive at a diagnosis and plan further course of action. When we come to prognosis is not opposite of diagnosis. Okay, it is basically prediction of the probable outcome of or the course of the disease or a disorder. How will the patient end with the disease, or is it going to be a bad prognosis or a good prognosis? When we say good prognosis, is that the patient will definitely come out of the disease one fine day, and there is a sure mechanism to it. There is an ample amount of evidence which is attached to it. But when you talk about prognosis, again, it can be bad as well. Now, bad prognosis is the conditions like cancer, where you have at an advanced stage you really have bad prognosis. There is a limitation to that. Right. When we talk about acute, now acute is obviously again a lot used word. It means that the condition has a rapid onset, severe course, but has a relatively short duration. So anything which is acute will be severe, will be intense, but that will be for a short duration of time. Whereas chronic is a condition of long duration. Although such disease can be controlled, they are rarely cured. A very good example of such a condition is diabetes. Yes, diabetes mellitus is a chronic metabolic disorder of the body, which can definitely not be cured anytime, but it can have a fantastic control. A similar example to it is also hypertension, where the patients will have to take hypertension medicines for a very good amount of time, but unfortunately it cannot be cured or it cannot be reversed. Right. Yeah, inflammation is a localized response to an injury to or destruction of tissues. The key indicators of inflammation are redness, heat, swelling, and pain. There is also one more thing which I need to add here is loss of function. So there are in fact 5 key indicators of inflammation. These are caused by extra blood flowing to the area as a part of the healing process. And the last definition which we learned today is remission, which is a temporary, partial, or complete disappearance of the symptoms of a disease without having achieved a cure. So remission is temporary, remember that. So conditions, neurological conditions typically are defined here in context of remission, with, for example, multiple sclerosis. So I hope you have understood the common signs and symptoms, the syndromes and diagnosis and prognosis, all these terminologies, they commonly to describe disease conditions in the body system. So let's pause the video for a while, take a screenshot, and you can use it later on.
Wow, that was quite intense. I hope you'd agree with me. There are medical textbooks on just explaining what the medical terminologies are. So there are plenty more out there. What we discussed here will surely help you in one way or the other. Let me know in the comment section below if you want more information about a specific terminology. Thanks for watching. This is Lucid Medicine, reimagining medicine in a simpler way.